Okay, this one's just going to be very short because I'd like it to be clear that most sales agents that I work with work extremely ethically, very professional, very good with their communication, and very diligent. All right. So you just need to be aware that this exists in the world. This information that is on this screen right now. Oh, never mind. While the real estate agents I work with act ethically, others may use tactics to their advantage. Some of these strategies are commonplace, some are unethical. All right, let's talk about this. Misrepresenting the condition of the property. So there are a lot of buyers who walk around and they just assume that the sales agent is being completely transparent and open and honest about everything. They're not. I know they're not because they have a seller to represent. So they're not being completely and open and transparent about everything. Best ones know exactly what to say and what not to say. And that's fine. They're doing their job well. They're going to make their sellers a lot of money. It's the unethical tactics that I need to tell you about. So they're downplaying or concealing defects, such as structural issues, water damage, or pest infestations. That's unethical if they are downplaying or concealing those major red flags. If the seller hasn't told them about it, well, that's different, isn't it? If the seller has told them about anything and you inquire about it, ethically, they should tell you about it, okay? Even if it's not a major red flag, even if it's, so is there anything wrong with the floor under that rug? The sales agent might say, oh, I'm assuming it's like the rest of the floor. If they know there's something under the rug, then they're obligated to say, actually, let me show you something that's under that rug. There's a bit of a, I don't know, rotten floorboard or something like that under there that they're concealing. You'd be very concerned about a sales agent who said, no, there's nothing under that rug. And then you lift up the rug and that'd be ludicrous. Using deceptive marketing language to gloss over negative aspects of the property. So it's deceptive. I mean, I don't know how many people see bad photoshopping. So you can get some really bad photoshopping and they've photoshopped the building that's for sale. That's unethical and incorrect. It can just get misleading information as well. So make your own mind up. When we teach you about the physical inspections, make your own mind up. All right. Now, removing or concealing evidence of damage. Some agents might try to hide damage or wear and tear before showing a property to make it look more appealing. And you've got to realize it's a fine line they walk. They're trying to represent their client. The seller is their client. They're doing the best they can for their seller. Okay, get the most money for their seller. Make the process as smooth and streamlined as possible for their seller. And so potentially you can imagine they get in the interior design people and their job is to make the place look beautiful. Okay. So they're going to be putting furniture potentially, so if there's a mark on the wall over there, they're going to want to do so. They'll have candles burning so it smells good and they'll have music playing so you can't hear the airplanes flying overhead. They're trying to sell the home. Okay. So good ones will do a good job trying to sell the home. Flood risk minimization. Some areas are prone to flooding. Agents might not fully disclose flood history or potential risks. If you don't ask about flooding, the agent might not feel it's important to tell you. I'm not saying all agents are like that at all. I've already given you plenty of warning that all agents aren't like that. You need to be aware and do your own research. Okay, Brisbane. The Brisbane booming market hype. Okay, so overstating market growth. Brisbane's market has its cycles. Agents may exaggerate current growth to pressure buyers into overpaying. Okay, so let me just say to you, current growth has been astronomical. And they may point out to you, did you know the prices are going up by $5,000 a week at the moment? Because at one point they are in some place. They are. And so every week you delay, you're essentially losing $5,000 worth of equity in a home. Applying that pressure to you when it might not apply to that home in that location, that if it's not 100% true, which don't get me wrong, it has been true in areas in Brisbane and in other areas in Queensland and Australia. Just make up your own mind. So that's why we teach you how to evaluate the value of a property. The fear of missing out. So them saying to you, look, how long have you been looking? Wow, that's a really long time. Gee, surely you're just sick of looking. Well, and doesn't this home tick all your boxes? Why don't you just buy it? You'll have it. You'll be over the looking, and the equity that it develops will now be yours. And that sounds really attractive. And that's not unethical or illegal, but they're influencing you, are they not? Sneaky situations and pressure tactics, overstating interest. Agents may claim to have received multiple offers, even if not entirely true, to pressure you into making hasty decisions or accepting unfavorable terms. We learn about unfavorable terms later on when we're talking about contracts and negotiations and making offers. Fake offers. In some cases, agents might invent offers to pressure you into making a higher offer. Limited time offers. Creating artificial deadlines to encourage quick decisions, potentially before buyers have fully researched the property. Yeah. It might be like, we have one open home and all of the offers have to be in by 4:00 this afternoon. That happens. So you've seen one open home, you get to go through the house once. And how are you supposed to conduct all your due diligence? So you can have done all of your desktop due diligence, but what about your physical due diligence? So those situations do happen in a really hot market, and they have happened in Brisbane. One open home, okay? Two open homes, that's very quite common. Two open homes and then place your offers by the end of the day of the second open home. All right, next. Underquoting. This involves advertising a property at a price significantly lower than the seller is willing to accept. This tactic is used to attract more buyers and offers. Confusing jargon. Using complex real estate terms and jargon can make you feel overwhelmed or stupid, takes away your confidence. You don't feel like you have any control, and you're more likely to rely on the agent's advice without fully understanding the details. Gazumping. Have you heard of that? This happens when a seller accepts your offer. Oh my gosh, he accepted your offer. Yay. The sales agent's just going to go and draw up the contracts. Yay. I'll get back to you. Excellent. And he gets back to you later on and said, oh, the seller accepted a higher offer. What? But, and it happens. And it's heartbreaking. Refusing to negotiate. Agents might use vendors' instructions as an excuse to reject reasonable offers, even if they could potentially secure a higher price through further negotiation. Now, recognize that if you give a verbal offer, the sales agent is not required to give your verbal offer to the seller. If you give an offer in writing, the sales agent is required by law to provide that offer to the seller, whether it be by text message, email, or hieroglyphics. No, that's probably not going to work. You get it. So don't provide verbal offers, provide written offers. And if you're worried that they didn't give your written offer to the seller, you could say, so what did the seller think of my offer? And, or let them know, so I'll call you later to find out what the seller thought of my offer. They're obligated to show it to the seller. In a busy market, some sales agents will almost have to cut corners, but they shouldn't. In a busy market, they have associates to help them so they don't cut corners. Bait and switch, advertising a property that is no longer available. In other words, it's under contract. To attract buyers, but then steering them to other properties that they have listed. So they've got your details now. Excellent. Let me show you these ones. You know, the truth is that both experienced and inexperienced agents can create situations that they are not proud of. There's a lack of transparency, and that's because they're really trying hard to get as much as they can for the home and to service their seller. And so, yes, there is a lack of transparency. You need to learn the right questions to ask and what the right way to develop a relationship with sales agents so that your offer has more depth to it. And though this is not representative of the majority of real estate agents, most agents are ethical and strive to provide excellent service. However, you will encounter something on this list. If I try to buy a home at the moment, I'm pretty certain that one point or another, after a few offers that you've placed, hopefully you don't place more than 3 or 4 offers and you'll have your home, then you will encounter this. Okay. So that is my information for you about sales agents. We've got selling techniques, how they work, and their unethical strategies. The next little bit of information I want to give you about sales agents is just their marketing terms. Okay. So things like it's a lifestyle property, it's an entertainer's delight, family home. You know what they're leaning towards. And if you've said to them at an open home, "Oh, I'm really looking for a perfect family home," then they're going like, well, this one is the perfect family home, so that they are, if they're good at their job, they're picking up signs from you left, right, and center. They're watching your body language. They're watching the way you carry your shoulders. They're very good at their jobs, these sales agents that make a lot of money. So they're going to be appealing to lifestyle, or they'll be appealing to the property features. So it's light filled, it's spacious. If they say something's cute, like it's got a cute kitchen, it probably means the kitchen is this big. This is something cute this big. So cozy kitchen is similar. Needs some TLC. That means you're going to have to bring a handyman in to come and give you a quote as to everything that has to be done. Unless, of course, you are handy yourself. Then you can do it yourself, or a handy woman. Locations and surroundings. This is it. Those A-grade homes we talked about earlier. Prime location, quiet street, close to transport, walk to shops and cafes, short drive to the beach. All right. So whatever you find is appealing to you, then they're using these words to attract you. So they're doing their job. They're presenting the property in its best light. Okay. So there we go. That's the end. And thank you for watching. I appreciate your company, my clever home buyers. And there's a lot more about all of this information in the rest of the course. I can't wait to see you in future videos. Thanks so much for your time. See you.